Greg O'Keefe, Everton start on the first day with new boys Leicester City, and then they'll be hosting some quite tricky London opposition.
Yeah. Well, of course, they'll probably have had an insight into how Leicester are going to go about things in Bangkok in pre-season, on the highlights of their pre-season schedule, but then straight into the trip to the King Power Stadium, and then brilliant round of fixtures. You can't really get much better than starting at Goodison against two of the real big London clubs who are going to come and test Roberto Martinez's resolve. But of course, beat both Arsenal and Chelsea at Goodison last season. There'll be a chance to build on that and really sort of lay down an early marker in the race for fourth, if that's going to be where Everton are setting their sights again.
Now, in the past 2 seasons in particular, Everton have made a good, strong start to the season. It's been something that they've been able to build on, hasn't it? This time it might be a bit more difficult. They've got Liverpool in the derby at the end of September. Then they've got Manchester United away. It's going to be a tough round of fixtures this time.
Yeah, I mean, last season I think it was more a case of getting through the initial learning period of Roberto Martinez's new style of play. The good thing about this season is that that will have been, well, as we know, that's been well and truly mastered. Yeah, and there's a couple of tough games, and you know the Anfield derby is one particularly that Blues will be looking at to go and get revenge on Liverpool after an evening certainly to forget last time. But it's the old cliche that there was literally no easy games. You know, all the promoted sides will be desperate to, you know, prove themselves in the top flight, and they are 3 decent teams. And Roberto Martinez will look at every fixture with the same searing positivity and optimism, and he'll say that we're going to go and face these sides on our terms, play our football, and like I say, look to lay a marker for where Everton are going to finish the campaign, not worrying about where they're going or who they're facing.
And talking about where people are going, at Christmas it can be a difficult time to travel, but Everton, they've done all right this time. Boxing Day, Stoke City at home. You've got to say, that could be a very nice Christmas present.
It could be, but certainly there's no gimmies. I mean, they seem to face Stoke around this time of year, often over the last few campaigns, and you know, clearly they're not quite the same prospect as they were under Tony Pulis. They're not going to come and kick people off the park, but yeah, I'm sure Everton will be quietly confident ahead of that game. I think moving on into the month, they've a couple of difficult away trips, or rather before that they had a couple of difficult away trips, didn't they?
Yeah, well, they've got Manchester City before that in December, and then they've got Manchester City on the 10th of January as well. It's amazing how sometimes those fixtures don't space themselves out, isn't it?
Yeah, just the way the computer does it, I guess. But you know, Everton will be looking to, slightly unlucky at the Etihad last season. You know, again, they'll be looking to go there and prove they can mix it with anyone.
Now, of course, then they've got the run-in towards the end of the season, and just those last few games: Manchester United at home, Villa away, Sunderland at home, West Ham United away, and Tottenham at home. No major stumbling blocks there, really, is there, for Everton? Roberto Martinez will be looking at that, and if he's looking to get into the top 4 and it's coming to the crunch, he'll look at that and be happy.
Well, I'm sure that'll be his aim. Now, a lot of it will depend on how Everton have progressed in the Europa League, of course, you know, sort of February, March time. The action on that front will be really hotting up. We know it's a big sort of addition to the fixture list. We know there's a lot of travel into far-flung reaches of Eastern Europe. How much that'll tell on Roberto Martinez's plans, well, of course, we'll learn more about that later as the summer progresses and see who he brings in. He said he needs 6 players at least. I'm sure we'll see more action after the summer and the World Cup's drawn to a close. But you're right. You know, it is doable. There's some tough games in the run-in, but also some exciting games. And I think Everton, you know, couldn't really have asked for a better run-in. And I'm sure, you know, they'll be looking to get one over Tottenham as that season concludes, and hoping to finish, you know, in the same similar positive vein as they did last term. And this time, hopefully, just nudge into that top 4 and move the club forward.
And finally, Greg, one thing that will change, we've got all these fixtures now and every one of them says 1500. That's not going to be the case, is it? They're not going to be at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Just
look at, you know, take August, for example. You know, those 2 games, Arsenal and Chelsea, clearly they're not going to be at 3 o'clock. Will they be on the Saturday? Probably not. Look at the derbies, they're both likely to change. But, you know, that's just the joys of the Premier League season, and I'm sure in due course we'll find out. But whatever happens, you know, we'll be there, home and away, watching Roberto Martinez's men.